everybody, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make the ZZ fold corner tuck card. It's a standard ZZ fold card, but it's got the extra little element of having this corner to hold this front overlay in place, because this is a double card. So just for a little extra twist, it's got the corner. I made this version recently with my Stampin' Up upline Brenda at one of our meetings, and I thought, oh, this would be something really fun to share with my YouTube friends. So this was the inspiration. Thank you, Brenda. And this is the version that we're going to make today. It uses the Take a Bow Designer Series paper, which is just a real firm favorite of mine. So I'll pop that off to one side and bring in all the ingredients that we need. So it's a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock, scored as usual at 4 1/4, but then it's scored again at 2 1/8, which makes the standard ZZ fold shape. So I'll just go ahead and score that. If you don't have a paper scorer, you can always just fold it in half and fold it back on itself, but the scoring makes it a nice, really sharp crease. So then the next piece is the inside, which is the quarter layer down. So that's 4 by 5 1/4. The piece that goes on the panel is 1 7/8 by 5 1/4, because again, we're just gone down a 1/4 inch. The little corner piece, it was a square, and it was 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, of course, one of which was on there, and I just cut it through diagonally. And then the red is 1 7/8, so it's the same measurement. The green is the same measurement as the body, and the Designer Series paper is the same as the strip that goes down. And then, like I say, I just cut both squares in half and got these handy dandy triangles. This was the piece that came off the bottom when I cut it, and sometimes when I've got little extra pieces like that, I just added it to the inside. It's not a necessary piece. I wouldn't really go cutting a little slither like that on purpose out of a big sheet, but because I had it, I thought I would use it. And then the two panels go on, well, the base is 5 1/4 by 4, and then scored in half at 2 5/8. And then there are the two pieces, one for the outside and one for the inside, and they are 2 3/8 by 3 3/4. There's an awful lot of measurements, but as always, the directions and dimensions will be on my blog, and you'll be able to find that a little bit later when I get it all sorted out and loaded up. So I'm going to fold this in half, because that is our inside piece. And then I'm just going to pop the inside layer on, because we're not actually doing any stamping onto that one. You just have to remember that this piece actually folds the opposite way. The crease is on the right hand side and not on the left, just so you can orient it. I'm just going to grab my silicone mat, because I'm going to stick this on, but I don't want any of the adhesive to go on my work surface when I'm busy working. And the silicone mats are great for that, because anything that's too sticky, you can just peel off. So there's the extra little piece. So that's how that goes. So let's get to building it then. So we'll pop the inside layer in, which, like I say, is 4 by 5 1/4. That's just a pretty standard 1/4 inch smaller layer size. And then the piece will go on the front. Again, it's just a 1/4 inch down, so it's 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. So we can pop that on. Whoops, the corner, I will just go ahead. I can attach the red all around, because that is just a decorative layer. But when you come to put this corner on, you have to remember, I've got a little bit of glue there, we're only going to do these two edges because this one needs to be free for the little extra piece to stick in. So again, silicone mat is great because if you overhang, especially when you've got pointy triangle pieces like this, the glue doesn't get all over your work surface. So I am just going to fix that into place, and because it's 2 1/8, we know it's going to fit along the whole length of the bottom piece. I do have a little bit of sticky overhang there. So that's the card, the main body of the card, and now we need to just do a little bit of stamping. So I used this set, hang an ornament, and what I did was I stamped it onto a extra piece of basic white cardstock, and using the garden green, I'm just going to stamp it in the middle of there, and then I'll use the real red to stamp the greeting in the middle, which is the All is Merry. Just like that. And then while we've got the real red out, I'm going to stamp the greeting which came out of Peaceful Seasons. It's hoping the season is bright and beautiful. So I'm going to stamp that up at the top because the ornament will go down at the bottom. But it felt a little bit really plain and white. So what I'm going to do is I just have one of my little quarter sponges. Sponges are great because they're nice and rounded, but if you cut them into quarters, you get this nice flat edge. So when you just want to catch the edge, you have a lot more control. If you were to use the rounded edge, it could be quite squidgy. So I've just given a little bit of definition around the edges. So close that. And then what I did was I brought in the dies, the hang and ornament dies, and I die cut this out. If you don't have the dies or you don't want to cut it out, you would just, of course, stamp that directly onto this little piece. But Power of Blue Peter, here's one I made and did earlier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this onto the front of the extra little overlay section. I'm not going to put the ornament on yet because I'm going to do it with dimensionals, and it just makes it easier to attach pieces when they're flat, if you can. Sometimes the dimensionals are already on, so you don't get a choice. And then what we need to do is just make sure this is lined up in the middle of the area of the back area so that there's enough of it that will reach into the pocket. And then last but not least, I am going to, actually, no, it's not last. I'm just going to bring in my smoky slate alcohol markers and colour that a little bit, just so it's light grey, so it gives the hint of being silver, I guess. And then pop some dimensionals on the back of here. And then pop it on the front so it's raised up. So there you have it. Two, oops, let me pop that one into its little pocket. Two the same, and let's bring in Brenda's original. If you find that your cards are popping, all you need to do is go back and give it an extra firm press with your bone fold. You see how that's now lying down quite nice and flatly? I've said this before and been very tempted to go Michael Flatley. Anyway, a lot less 3D. So we'll pop that into its corner. That's the two that we made the same. Brenda's version that we copied the pattern from. if you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. Give me a thumbs up. I always really do appreciate those. As I said, all the directions and dimensions will be on my blog. If you've got a question or a comment, pop those in the box below because I'll always get back to everyone. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.